Hello everybody, welcome back to another video of Fantastic Talks. Bringing you back with another DragonBall Sparking Zero related video for you guys today. This is a video long time in the making. I've been wanting to do this video for quite some time now. I just wasn't sure really when to do it or how to do it. Just because of how the marketing for Sparking Zero has been, what characters to expect for the roster. It's still too soon to tell. Quite early days, just because of how like certain characters have been announced lately and stuff like that. There still could be some surprises left in store for us. There are still some characters that we know are going to be confirmed, but are still yet to be confirmed. But I want to sort of go into this with the mindset of who I personally want to be from the base game, and who I'd keep for DLC instead. But this is mainly going to be a DLC prediction to do with GT and the movie characters, or legacy characters I should say, however you want to call it. Because we know that those two series of characters and arcs are probably like the biggest like set of characters that people really want to look forward to for the base game. But we know that most of them are probably not going to make it in the base game and be kept for DLC. But the problem with that is the first DLC going forward will be to do with Dragon Ball Daima and Dragon Ball Superhero, which we all know is the first season pass for it, which potentially includes 20 plus playable characters, so which is quite a lot for one season pass, separating them all into 3 different DLCs. So we know the obvious characters in for Superhero will be obviously the 2 Gamma androids, Gohan with Super Saiyan Ultimate and Beast probably. He's probably going to have a different moveset to the Gohan we're getting in the base game already. Piccolo with his Ultimate Potential, Orange and Giant. Cell Max obviously. Possibly Teen Goten and Teen Trunks. We might get those two. I can't really imagine anyone else for Dragon Ball Daima. I can't really see 18 and Krillin making it through. I don't know about Kid Pan. I'd be surprised if she makes it through as a DLC character. It'd be a bit weird. For Daima, we got Kid Goku, obviously, Kid Vegeta. I feel like those two would be the obvious ones. And I know we've seen some announcement on the official characters for Daima. We had like a trailer that showed a bit more characters that were revealed. I cannot remember for the life of me what the names were, but there's a good few in there that might make it to the DLC. I don't know. It's still too soon to tell who would make it to the cut from Daima, because we don't know what Daima's about yet. We don't know what the characters can do yet. There's still probably some surprises for that still yet to be revealed. So whoever those characters are going to be to make up the 20 plus characters will probably just be Superhero and Daima, which is why I think I can see them doing 2 extra season passes, like they did with Fighters and Kakarot, and a lot of like DLC for Xenoverse too. So I just feel like DLC for a game that's popular is just like the modern day thing now, just bapping out content for the next few years or so if a game's doing that well. So I could see them going this route, and if Sparking Zero, if it's going to do well, which it obviously will, and it's going to be a game that people are going to love, I really don't see them stopping at Daima and Superhero as DLC. I have a feeling they'll keep bapping out content for this game like they did with Fighters and Kakarot and Xenoverse, like I said. So if that's the case, here are my predictions and wish list for Sparking Zero if there was going to be a Season Pass 2 and a Season Pass 3. Now, how I'm going to do this. We know that there's still quite a few character slots left, thanks to the latest trailer, the Saiyans and Namek trailer saga, the Saiyans and Namek saga trailer that we've just seen. A lot of the roster has been filled in already, but there's still about 49 or so characters left to fill up the roster. And the way I've worked this out, some GT and some movie characters could still make it through, as well as a couple of the Dragon Ball characters like Kid Goku and King Piccolo and that. There's still a couple. We still have Cell's forms and Boo's forms to be revealed. Kaba to be revealed. Maybe a couple more Universe 6 characters like the Namekians, the Magetta and stuff like that. I think it's Magetta. But there still could be some room for the characters for GT and movies that were in the original game, Tenkaichi 3, that could still make it through into the base game itself. Considering characters like Yajirobe and Spopovich, of all characters that have decided to come back too, two characters I didn't think would come back. It gives me a little bit more hope that GT and all that will come back in as well. Heck, even Kui and the Cybermen have now come back. So I reckon we can still see a lot of characters from Tenkaichi 3 still make it into the base game of Sparking Zero. So, starting with GT, before I get into the characters that will be DLC, I'm starting with the characters that probably will make it into base game, which is the obvious ones. Goku GT, which comes with Super Saiyan 3, and Super Saiyan 4. GT Vegeta, because we didn't really have GT Vegeta in Tenkaichi 3, but he's now a thing in Xenoverse 2. So have GT Vegeta be the base Vegeta for Super Saiyan 1 and Super Saiyan 4. Not sure if you need Super Saiyan 2. I don't know if he fought 17 as Super Saiyan 2. He might have fought baby Gohan as Super Saiyan 2. I'm not sure. But however they work, that's how I would look at it. So GT Vegeta would make a nice addition. Gogeta Super Saiyan 4, obviously. You got obviously baby Vegeta, including his second form and final form with his Great Ape form 2, Super 17, Nova Shenron, Sin and Omega Shenron. And if they want to add someone new to that Shadow Dragon roster, Ice Shenron would be an obvious one to go with Nova. I was always so annoyed they never added Ice Shenron along with Nova and Omega in Tenkaichi 3, considering that Nova Shenron's color palette, I think, was kind of like Ice Shenron's, if like his alternate color, I think you get to choose. So, and obviously Pan and GT Trunks with Super Saiyan. So they're the obvious ones. They were in the base game for Tenkaichi 3. So it will make sense for them to come back in the base game for Sparking Zero. Now, quite a few of these characters you probably expected me to say to keep for DLC. No, because, like I said, they should be from the base game from the start. I think they should use the GT DLC for newer characters that really haven't had their chance in a game as much. And I think the perfect candidates for DLC would be Wildo with his second form and final form. I think he's a character that people would like to see. I would like to see him because I think he's an underrated character. I think it'd be really cool to play. I think he would have a really unique skill set, considering all his forms are all different, the way they play, the way he fights in them. So, considering how vastly different he looks in each form. Another obvious one would be Legic, because he's another sword character who'd be really cool to have, because, again, why not? And maybe Lude, because he's a giant. He was like a giant form. Whether you have his red form or his like more evolved form, whatever you call it, I don't really mind what they do. I mean, either one of them can be like alterations to pick from. But Ludo would be a nice giant character to add to the game, because I just feel like there's not enough giant characters in this game. The only ones that have been announced have been Great Vegeta and Annie Laza, or Annie Raza. Annie Laza. I don't know how to say that name still. It was one of the two. So I think a lot of giants could end up being DLC by this point, to be honest. So that would be my first set of DLC for Season Pass 2. Rildo, Lude, and Legic as like the three characters leading up to the baby arc and stuff, you know. Second set of DLC for GT. I didn't really know who else you could add, other than the obvious ones would be GT Gohan with Super Saiyan, maybe. And I know people, I don't know if it's kind of redundant, but I wouldn't mind just to go with Pan and GT Trunks. GT Goten with Super Saiyan, because why not as well, I guess, you know? I know there's people out there that kind of want GT Goten in it, because we never really see GT Goten anywhere. So I know he's like probably the most useless character in the show, but I mean, but it was still just to have him there would just be still a nice addition, you know, just to show a bit more love for GT, I guess. I don't know. That would be my second DLC set. But the final DLC set for GT, by this point, you might as well add the rest of the Shenrons. So Oceanus Shenron would be a really interesting one with her male form, or was well, he was male first, but his female form is his fake form, I think. Oceanus Shenron would just be a really nice addition to have, because we've never really seen her be in the game before, not including DragonBall Heroes and all that. But she was the character to have Whirlwind Spin, not Omega Shenron. So it will make sense for her to have Whirlwind Spin. So it'd be so that's why it'd be cool to have her come in. And her mucking around with like the wind element and stuff like that. I'm sure there's tons of like super moves you could do with her. I can't remember what else she did do in the show, but I remember her being quite cool with what she could do. The next obvious ones would be Rage Shenron, because he's a giant. He can be a giant to play. Another giant that I'd say, in my opinion, just add Giant Rage Shenron. I don't know if you'd need his like first form. Same with Neutron Shenron as a giant. I think those two as giants would work better as their own characters. That's what made them who they were in the show. Their giant forms kind of made them stick out a bit more. I feel like they did a lot more in those forms. So yeah, definitely have Rage Shenron, Neutron Shenron as the giant forms. And I guess if we're adding all the rest of the Shenrons, I guess you can't really leave out Haze Shenron, which I think is the Shenron that screws with pollution. I think. I hope I'm not wrong on that. Or was that Oceanus? I swear Haze was the pollution dragon. I'm not sure. Let me know in the comments below if I'm right on that. But yeah, I guess that would be my obvious choice of characters for DLC, because I feel like the Shadow Dragons, I feel like people would like to see, and having that as like the final set of DLC for Season Pass 2 would be, I think, clever. So that's my sort of prediction for GT, in my opinion. Let me know in the comments below if there's anything you'll change there. Do you think the bigger characters like Gogeta Season 4 and like Super 17 and all that, and Nova Shenron, do you think they would make more sense to be a DLC? In my opinion, no, because they've been established in so many other games already that I don't think you would need to make them DLC again, because Goku GT being in Fighters as DLC was a bit weird. Same with Gogeta Super Saiyan 4. Like GT was DLC in Xenoverse 1. I'm pretty sure. I know that characters like Goku Super Saiyan 4 and Vegeta Super Saiyan 4 and all that, and Baby Vegeta are like loved characters, and they probably would make sense to be GT, to be DLC, instead of the ones I suggested. But like Goku Super Saiyan 4 was teased in that very first trailer for Sparking Zero before it was announced as Sparking Zero. So you can't tell me that they're gonna leave Super Saiyan 4 Goku for DLC when they've already established him in that first teaser trailer. Everyone online is still pointing that out. There's no way they're gonna leave him for DLC. He's got to be from straight up from the get-go. Same with Baby Vegeta. Baby Vegeta is like become a big thing again in Dragon Ball The Breakers of all things. So he's a new campaign mode going on right now. So yeah, just keep Baby for the roster, you know. Just have the obvious characters for the base roster, and make the rest of the characters that still had a little bit of relation to those arcs that Baby 17 and the Nova and Ice and Omega Channel were in, be more for DLC, because like I feel like they could have potential to be a DLC, and I reckon people will still buy them as DLC characters. In my opinion, I definitely think Rildo will be up there for DLC, and the rest of the Shenrons, I feel like. So definitely, especially Oceanus, and especially Rage Shenron and Neutron Shenron as giants. So that, in my opinion, that's how the DLC should work. So let me know in the comments below what you think about that. Is there anyone you would change there? Is there anyone you would swap around for DLC and base game? Let me know in the comments below. I'd like to hear your thoughts. I'm going to move on to Season Pass 3, which would be the movie characters or the legacy characters from Z. So this would be an easy one for me. If there's still room, base characters for GT might have already filled up that roster already. The GT characters I've said for base game, there was like 20 or so characters I mentioned there, which including their forms and stuff. Which still leaves room for a few other characters for like that are yet to be confirmed and stuff. Which leaves me room for like 10 characters more or less left for the base game to be included. So for the movie characters, but for base game, definitely Z Broly with Super Saiyan and Legendary Super Saiyan, obviously. Because we know Bardock's been confirmed for the base game, which is the original version of Bardock from Z, not the Dragon Ball Super version. And usually Bardock and Z Broly come hand in hand. They've always have been, probably always will be. In every like Dragon Ball game that's been, they've always come together as a package. I just feel like that's always been like a trend for some reason. So I feel like Z Broly will still make it through. I'll be surprised if he doesn't. I'll be very, very surprised if he doesn't. I can still see Z Gogeta make it through, purely because of the fact that Vegito is kind of his own character. He's not pronounced as like Z or Super. I think he is just Vegito, and Blue is one of his extra forms, because I guess he's not really, I guess it doesn't play any differently to compared to his Z counterpart. So now you could probably say the same thing about Gogeta Super, but the fact that they've put it, I'm pretty sure he is named Gogeta Super in brackets, which makes me wonder if Z Gogeta will still make it through to the game as his own character, because I guess his movesets are slightly different compared to Super's version. It might be redundant that Z Gogeta kind of doesn't need to be in it, but I do feel like he still should be in it, because I'll find it a bit weird if the Dragon Ball Super Gogeta is in the base game, but Z Gogeta gets made for DLC, even though they're kind of still a similar character. Which they'll probably make him a color alternate and make his jacket orange. I do feel like he'll play slightly different, maybe, and he'll have the halo on him. So I still hope Z Gogeta does make it through, along with obviously Giant Janemba and his final form. I feel like Janemba will be a bit weird if he doesn't make it through, because one, he's a very popular giant, and two, Goku Super Saiyan 3's one of his super moves is used against Janemba when he goes up in the air with his Ki Blast and sort of flies down on the opponent. We all know, we've seen that it is the move he did against Janemba. That alone should hopefully be further proof that Janemba could make it into the base game, hopefully, with both his forms. So fingers crossed that is the case. I mean, I'm surprised that like Janemba wasn't in that sword trailer, because final form Janemba uses a sword, which kind of made me worried that maybe he will end up being DLC. But I, in my opinion, want him to be base game. Same with Hirudegarn, because obviously Super Saiyan 3 Goku's Dragon Fist is in the base game. We've seen it in the gameplay showcases and all the demos we've seen. So I feel like Hirudegarn should make it to base game too, as another giant. Again, there's not enough giants in this game, so they need to add a couple more, hopefully, and not save them all for DLC. So just hopefully keep a couple for the base game, and there's still a good few giants you could do for DLC anyway. But the worrying thing is like we've seen and heard that Goku's Dragon Fist doesn't even work on giant characters. There was gameplay against Great Ape Vegeta, and his Dragon Fist rush attack didn't work on him. And usually ultimate rush attacks work in the old games. So that'd be really disappointing if that's the case, because if that's the case, that probably means Hirudegarn probably won't even make it into in the base game, which is really, really weird. So I'm hoping that's something they're going to fix, because obviously that is the finishing move he does against Hirudegarn. So it will kind of suck if you can't do that move against him, or it might be like a scripted story mode only thing if some movie characters end up being in story mode. So yeah, that'll kind of suck. But I do hope Hirudegarn still makes it through, and I do hope they change that rush attack situation. But they are my obvious choices for the base game. So Broly with Super Saiyan 1 Legendary Super Saiyan, Z Gogeta Super Saiyan obviously, Janemba Giant and Janemba Final Form, and Hirudegarn. Those are my obvious picks for base game. Let me know in the comments below if you agree with me on that. So the DLC characters for the movies, I've done this in my own sort of little set as well. So this will be 3 separate DLCs like I did for GT, consisting of like 4, maybe more than 5 characters each. The last one being 3. I'll get to that soon. So I kind of went with this in order of like the movies, to be honest. However way they do this, I don't care. This is how I've sort of done it, just for argument's sakes, just to make it easier. DLC 1 for movie characters. Bardock Jr. with his final form, and I've done this in a way where each DLC will have a giant as well. So we're not leaving giants as the last DLC. We're having a giant in each DLC, just so that there is a giant we can expect for each DLC. I think it kind of makes a lot of sense. Dr. Wheelo, he's my next one. He's a giant. I think he's a very underrated giant. I think he's a really cool giant, and he needs to have a bit more love. So, and imagine the stage you get to be in if they include stages for this game as well. So, I like underneath the base underneath the Arctic. So hopefully he will make it through as DLC if he's not going to be in base game. Be a bit stupid if he wasn't. Turles, obviously. Lord Slug with his giant form, obviously. So there's 2 giants there in one DLC. So that's my first set of DLC characters there. Second set of DLC. Cooler, final form. I kind of wanted him in base game. I feel like he might make more sense to me in base game, but I kind of do see him as DLC as well. So I'm just going to stick with DLC. Cooler with his final form. Metacooler with his giant form, because I feel like his giant form was very underrated. The last time we saw his giant form was in Battle of Z. Before then, it was Ultimate Tenkaichi. His Ultimate Tenkaichi boss fight was way more epic than how it was in Battle of Z. So I really hope that comes back, and to fight him in the Big Getty style would be amazing to do again. So please, Bandai, bring that back. I would love to see Giant Metacooler. He's so underrated. I love the way he looks, how deformed he looks. I think it'd be a really interesting Giant to come back. So let's hope so. Android 13, obviously, with his super form. But if we're including his super form, I'm hoping 14 and 15 comes with him. I think that would be really cool. 14 and 15 are really underrated characters, and I feel like they should come hand in hand together. Again, I would have wanted Android 13 to be in base with his super form and have 14 and 15 just be the DLC androids. But I kind of just... Again, I was trying to be semi-realistic with who would be a base game and who I'm predicting would be DLC, if that makes sense. So, I don't know. The next one would be Bojack with his full power form. I feel like he could be saved for DLC, unless you swap out Z Broly with him, to be honest, because I feel like Z Broly's that much of a loved character. I feel like you could easily swap Bojack round and have Broly as DLC, but I know fans will not like that. I think that would be really, really silly if Broly wasn't in base game, because Bardock's in base game. Why not Broly? So yeah, I'm not sure about Bojack being DLC there. I'm kind of, maybe you could put him in base game along with like the other characters I mentioned in base game, along with Zanya. Zanya was going to be my DLC character choice, but I would have liked to add the rest of the Bojack team, but I don't know if there'd be too much going on there for DLC as the second lot of characters. So maybe you could have half the team in base game and have a couple for DLC. I don't know. Let me know in the comments below what you think about the Bojack gang being in the game. Or would you just have Bojack alone, or would you keep Zanya? Because obviously Zanya and Bojack were in the base game of Tenkaichi 3. So would you have them come back as base game Sparking Zero or DLC? Let me know in the comments below. And the third set of characters, I think would be a nice surprising one. Tapion, because if we're having Hudagon in base game, or well, if Hudagon ends up being DLC, it would make sense for Tapion to come with him as DLC. So Tapion, I think, would kind of be a fair enough character to be DLC, because he is a very loved character, and he's a really cool character, and he is another sword character. Pycon as well. Pycon is a very loved character, and I feel like I know Pycon was made for DLC in Xenoverse, but so was Nail. But they've brought Nail back for the base game now for Sparking Zero, as we've seen recently announced in the latest trailer. So they might do the same for Pycon. Who knows? So, but I'm just going with what I think, who I think could be DLC here. So Pycon, Tapion, and most of you probably won't like this. I would still like to see it, because why not? He'll still be a new character. He'll be another new giant. Bio Broly, because why the hell not? Bio Broly, he looks completely different. He'll probably play a little more differently, and he's a lot more slimmer, and like his giant form will be a really nice addition. Really, really cool addition. So just have this game be the first game he actually comes in on a console game. I know we've seen Bio Broly in Dragon Ball Heroes and stuff. Bringing him in on a modern console game, why not? So yeah, those are my sets of characters for Season Pass 3. So Season Pass 3 are the movie characters that come with the giants and stuff. So with that, that's all the characters I can mention. So I don't know who else to add really. I don't know who I've missed. If there's anyone I've missed that you'd like to see yourself, guys, please let me know in the comments below. That's all I can say on the matter. This was my prediction and wish list for DLC characters and who I think should be kept for the base game. I feel like the characters I've mentioned for base game, there's still a few. There's still a little room left for the rest of the characters yet to be confirmed that we know are gonna get confirmed. So hopefully I haven't overlapped the characters there. This all depends if even if I have overlapped the number of characters that have yet to be confirmed. This all depends if the 164 plus characters is even the final number. They still could surprise us. Guys. We'll only know for sure near the release date of the game. So who knows? But other than that, guys, I'm going to end the video here. Let me know in the comments below what you thought of my wish list. Do you agree with the characters I've chosen to be DLC and be kept as base roster? Is there anyone you'd swap round you think would make more sense for DLC instead? Let me know in the comments below. Please drop a like if you've enjoyed the video, and please do subscribe to the channel for more Dragon Ball discussions coming soon. There's still tons of news left to come. There's definitely going to be some surprises left in store for us, so fingers crossed GT and some movie characters will make it into the base game. I'm still excited to see all the rest of the characters yet to be confirmed. Do you think there will be a Season Pass 2 and 3? Let me know in the comments below. I hope you guys enjoyed this. Until we get some more news though, take care guys, have a fantastic day, and I'll see you all next time. Bye bye.